I just have one last question. Can you give us either a hope or a thought of how this SM progressed through ages? I know you had a talk before about SM through ages.
Well, the hope is, depending on the child, like unless there's wise stopping them, that they completely overcome it. I mean, there's a little girl here that's a helper. She's like 7. Her parents are on the panel. She came completely shut down, had done a very speech-based program where it was speak, 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 and she became a speech phobic, unfortunately. She had to unlearn it, totally verbal. She's out there talking and helping the group. She doesn't have SM anymore. So kids, depending on who they are, can overcome it. If you have a very innately timid temperament and you have a very high genetic load of social anxiety, your family's socially anxious, you have that in your family, you're very prone to it. During times of transitions, during situations that may be feeling, that social anxiety, that may be lingering. So that's a reason that some may stay in therapy or continue on. If they have difficulties with understanding and navigating social situations, like they are on the ASD spectrum, you may have to navigate social situations. If they have learning or processing issues, you may need to help them be able to realize how they can accommodate themselves. So we help them reach their capacity, but during times of transitions, look, we're human. I don't know about you, but there's more times I'm more anxious than other times. And
Absolutely.
right?
Even yesterday that happened to me with, Luca. I could hear him upstairs and I just wanted him to know that we were here and where we were. And my anxiety rose just because of him, but I had to be calm and bring myself down to comfort him. And when I came upstairs, she could tell that, my anxiety had rise. So yeah, we're all human. It happens and it's a part of life.
And that's that genetic factor. I think all 3 of us had a moment yesterday of anxiety about this. And you could see the fear on my face. It's something I'm working on.
Yeah, no. I was only pointing it out because parents don't realize it. And when you educate them, it's like sometimes it is fake it till you make it if it's really not a scary situation, because we want them to feel safe. We also want them to feel validated. So that's why I brought that up.
I think you earlier in our session, you mentioned letting them go. Like we really do have to let them go to grow and get when we talked about signing Luca for T-ball, was like, okay, is he going to be okay? But he actually had a really great year. He was only 3.5. He's supposed to be 4, and there were 4, 5, and 6-year-olds on his team. And he participated, he played, and it was awesome. And he actually asked us specifically to play soccer. So
he did great in a large group. I'd say a lot of my patients, clients, they would have a tough time in a real big group if they don't have the social connection and confidence and verbal ability to communicate. Also know that sometimes when you're busy doing something, running, playing, you aren't going to talk.
Yeah.
And parents are like, well, I need him to talk. Well, you're not going to be talking as you're getting the ball and running.
Yeah, that was a big part of it. I think he didn't feel that pressure.
Yeah.
Although he did feel it when he was at bat. So that was the struggle, was batting this season. Playing the field, he was completely great.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't always perfect.
And it worked for him.
Yeah. It wasn't always perfect. There was ups and downs throughout the season.
Maybe you worked on the buddy process. Maybe you met up with a coach, did an interview, maybe a guess who game with his favorite characters to build comfort.
And even beforehand, we made sure a buddy was on the team.
There you go.
We paired him and played their backyard neighbors.
Yeah.
So we played.
And then I have stuff in the house, and now all of a sudden you're meeting for pizza afterwards and going for ice cream. Now he's got 2 friends, but wait, there's a little boy over there. Let's invite him too. Now there's 4, and they're the cool guys.
So we were able to include
And it applies to older kids too, right?
Yes.
Like this strategy.
Yes. Is this helping?
Yeah,
What I'm saying?
Yeah, very.
It
very
does.
much,
It's
yeah.
finding your areas of interest and feeling confident in what you're doing. And just always think comfort, connection, and confidence in these areas. And that is like the baseline fuel with facilitation.
Regardless of age.
Yeah, regardless of age.
Okay, I have
Even
to
yourself.
that. Yeah, true. Thank
Yeah,
you.
but it does evolve as children get older in the demand. So sometimes going from elementary to middle or middle to high school, going to college, all of these are transitions, but this is life.
True.
And you may need more or less support. You go through a life event, you might need more support. We're not robots, and neither are they.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and with what we're going through in the world, it's scary.
It is scary. And I love when you said, look, we're always parents. We're always
parents.
we're going to be worried about things. And I think one of my big worries is, will she be hurt and not be able to say that? Or,
Will she be what?
be hurt or feel in pain or not being able to?
First of all, look, listen, and learn. You see she's not herself. that you will say, hey, you don't feel comfortable, something going on?
I mean, at school, like if she needs something at school and no one notices that.
Well, so what you said is really important, and I have to say this. We can't assume that they are going to initiate in those moments, which is why you want to work on initiation skills when there is no difficulty. For example, the teacher prompting to like when the clock strikes 3, it's time for this, or would you go and give this book to, Luca? And so the counselors at the camp are stimulating nonverbal initiation. We've had kids bring in funny questions and jokes to their teachers, and the round robin where they're going off to different teachers and maybe they're verbal and they're reading it. Or, can you tell Mrs. Smith that I'll meet her for lunch afterwards? Or, hey, can you ask Robert if he has his math homework? So you want to stimulate, even at a party with a gathering, hey, does she want a root beer or does she want water? You give them these opportunities, whether it's a set game they're playing, the asking game, you can make it anything you want, the interview game. The reason we love things like the interview process, which you can change the name to anything. There's a million names for the interview process. It allows give, take, back, forth. So in our office, when we're doing sessions, and you probably have seen this, is you're asking questions. So you get these kids. I said this yesterday. What are the chances that if a child is verbally responsive, you can get them to become initiative if they have some reading skills? 100%, because they read the question. So now they're going up to different people in the office, they're going up to aunts and uncles, and now they're working on initiation. So what do you think happens if they need something and they practice that skill? Don't assume lower anxiety and all these things happen. I have learned the biggest lesson, if you say, Dr. E, what is one of the biggest things you've learned over your careers? Don't wait, facilitate as adults. Meet them where they're at, look, listen, and learn, and don't assume they're going to do these things if they haven't had opportunities to do it.